I have a question for you guys. Do you let emotions control you, or do you control emotions? Whatever your answer is, stay tuned. We have a great topic and good conversation today in regards to it. So let's get to it. Welcome to Bump.
Welcome.
I am your host, Shamir, with my co-host,
Nabil. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us today.
Nabil the Great.
I don't know about all that, but thank you.
Well, we love you. Anyways, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in on all those podcast platforms. Thank you for tuning in on YouTube or wherever you're watching us around the world. Today,
Or listening to us.
Listening to us, yes.
Listen to my story.
Indeed. Today we're going to be talking about controlling emotions, or how emotions control us. Nabil, do you have any anecdote or anything you want to say that you feel that emotions have overtaken you at some point, or a moment where you have actually taken over your emotion?
I'll tell you what, it kind of makes me look at your shirt right now, the Palpatine and Vader campaigning for 2024. Makes me think of those guys letting their emotions control them all the time. All the doggone time.
I love it.
You know, the dark side ain't it.
No.
Because we see the consequences of it in those films.
That's exactly right. That's
freaking
very true.
perish.
Very true. Shout out to all our fanboys and fangirls out there. All those people that go to MegaCon, Comic-Con. We're going this coming year in 2024 in Orlando. We'll be there. So if you guys see us,
we will be there at MegaCon. Yes, we've got some ideas of content to create while we're over there. So that's going to be exciting when the time comes in February.
Definitely.
I think we've all gone through the experience of letting our emotions get the better of us, whether it's through, just being irked and ticked off right away. People, just kind of light you up. Let's say starting out your Monday at work, or whatever your first day of the week is for you, for your own job, and people just right away they wanna light you up. Hey, listen, we need you to take care of this, or we need you to take care of this. Oh, hey, by the way, last week when you were last in, you did this job and you messed up, and we need you to take care of it ASAP right now. Go. And also, you're falling behind, so hurry up and pick up the slack. Just certain words, certain triggers, and all that stuff that just really lights you up. How do you specifically, I'm talking to you, whether you're listening or you're watching us on YouTube, how do you handle it? And I genuinely want to know what you guys have to say about it. So make sure to comment on our social media platforms, or even here on YouTube, how you handle this, because I genuinely want to know different ways on how people have handled it. Right. Me personally, sometimes I handle it the wrong way.
Right.
Like if I just clocked in, leave me alone.
Right.
Especially me. Like I start my shift at 6 a.m. And if you're going to come at me like that already, now I'm just mad. I was just like, bro, leave me alone. Yeah. I'm getting settled in. I'm getting my things ready to go. Just let me collect myself. Let me get in the zone.
Right. And if you know what you're doing, because there's something that people don't understand when somebody micromanages.
Yeah.
That is very annoying, because if you as a person, you're an experienced professional in whatever you do, you've done so many hours all year long on the same exact thing, it's repetitive. Why do you have to micromanage a person? Unless the person ain't doing their job and they're not meeting up to expectations, okay, whatever. But a person that knows what they're doing, they produce every time the same amount of work or exceed it. Why the micromanaging? So I do understand Nabil when he says, like, hey, this is annoying. It's starting off the day with all the rambling and the bull crap. I understand that. But again, there's
even new people that start off, they're gonna be stressed out. They're gonna be nervous. They're going to be, they're going to feel different ways. Or let's say, if you want to target people who are in school.
Right.
Of any grade level, from, gonna say like 4th or 5th grade all the way to high school and even college students, you know, you've got this big project coming up. You've got some sort of discussion that you have to do in front of your classmates and stuff like that. Like, you're getting nervous, you're stressing out. And when you got teachers like kind of not on your side, you know, like, what are you gonna do? You know what I mean? Like, how are you gonna let your nerves get the better of you too?
Right.
Or are you actually gonna like quiet your mind and you know, center yourself and just kind of be like, you know what, I can do this. I know for a fact I can. I got this. I know this material frontwards and backwards. So let me just kind of cancel people out, so to speak, tune people out, and just focus on what I got to do,
right,
the task at hand, and just go for it. But I guess, again, if we're talking more of like letting your emotions control you from an angry standpoint, there's a lot of consequences. There's rarely any pros to it. Sometimes I think you can stand your ground and have a firm attitude versus an angry, lashing out kind of attitude.
Oh yeah. Where you're affirmative and your point of view is strong towards whatever's you know the counterparty is.
Yeah. I wrote down you know, what happens when you let your emotions control you. So overwhelming emotions can result in emotional blowouts, damaged relationships, and poor life decisions. And that's very true. And I think we both have definitely experienced that. You know, you did your prison sentencing. That's part of it. I wouldn't say you were angry with what happened, but I could say there were consequences to letting your emotions drive you regardless to do the acts that you did. I've certainly let things in my marriage, some of my best friendships have I wouldn't say they broke apart, but they definitely needed some separation time so that we could all kind of collect our thoughts and heal, and then come back and just be like, hey, listen, what I meant to say was this, and I'm really sorry about it, but you know, the reason I got heated was because of X, Y, and Z. So I don't think we should always judge people when they lash out or anything like that, but we should understand too that, you know, there's certain buttons that shouldn't be pushed. And the only way we're going to know that is if we get to know the person, if we get to talk to the person, if we just kind of sit back and, you know, not judge so much, not point the finger so much.
That's something I was going to say. Like, I feel like if you know the person, you know what buttons to press and which ones not to, because at the end of the day, you don't want to, like, if you know something annoys a person, you know, and it doesn't need to be said or done, then don't do it, you know. But if it's something that's a topic that's, you know, been spoken about a couple times and it's the same result, I mean, you got to look for a different result, I'm assuming, to make things better.
Handle it.
You know, I want people to understand also the genetics to our thought process, our brain and whatnot. I wanted to break down emotions, obviously. Real quick. Like
please do.
The meaning of emotions is it's a effective state of consciousness in which joy, sorrow, fear, hate, and so on is experienced as distinguished from cognitive and volition. Anyways, states of consciousness. Sorry for not pronouncing it correct. It's just emotions or feelings, whether good or bad. When I was doing therapy back in the day, I got into cognitive behavioral therapy, which I was able to, you know, do a lot of research in regards to how our brain works and whatnot. And I came across this doctor named Bruce Lipton.
Yeah.
Very great guy. And the people that he does research with in regards to epigenetics and biology, they all have great studies. Bruce Lipton hasn't made it super mainstream because a lot of people don't believe in what he researches, which is okay. I mean, until it doesn't actually, it's not 100% proven. Obviously, sometimes things don't go mainstream, which is okay. But I believe in it because I've seen it firsthand. And I wanted to talk about neurogenesis. Neurogenesis is neurons in the brain, and it creates new connections. In essence, when you start to create new habits, that's saying that you can't teach the old dog new tricks. That's
Absolutely hate that saying. Absolutely hate it.
You know, I said it one time to Nabil. He's like, yeah, no, that's not right. And he's absolutely correct, because it's not true. You can teach an old dog new tricks. You can teach yourself new tricks, new habits, new tendencies. It's just up to you. So it is scientifically proven through neurogenesis, and I think neuroplasticity is another one that's kind of similar in regards to the brain connections, where we can start new habits, start new things. I do have here, I think I wrote it down somewhere. Anyways, the thing is that if we can create these new habits and these new thought processes in our brain, that means that we can control our emotions. If we couldn't control our emotions, then we wouldn't have made this podcast today, because it would be irrelevant. But I've been able to control myself and my emotions. There's still times that I do lash out. Again, we aren't perfect.
All do.
We are not perfect.
No.
We are human beings. So don't be hard on yourself when you don't come through the right way. Another thing that I was reading was in regards to suppression and repression, which is this happens when you're consciously or unconscious. Either way, it just contributes to your mental and physical state. Health symptoms, for example, anxiety, things that you go through on a daily basis, work, family, your kids, just everything, your extracurricular activities, your leisure time, all these things that add up. I wanted to tell people that, sometimes you might lash out because all these things have taken a toll on you throughout the day or throughout the week or throughout the month, and you haven't had probably enough rest, or Nabil mentioned earlier, or you might be hungry, you might be you might be, there are just so many different things that could amount to you going off on a person the wrong way. Or so you need to, again, like I've said in previous podcasts as well, you need to hold yourself accountable, see what the problem is, and try to solve it. So that's why I'm trying to give these different advices and points of views and perspectives, so you guys can kind of start thinking the way, in essence, we think and other people think that are trying to move forward in life.
Well, it's just to find a healthier way of handling your emotions and your actions, so that you can benefit from it and so can others. I mean, you don't always want to be that person that no one wants to be around, because you're always, reacting to impulse.
Exactly.
I mean, that's not the way to do it. Nobody wants to be around a toxic person.
Right. Honestly. And I used to be a toxic person. I used to be a guy that, I solved everything with violence or aggressiveness.
And sometimes that's genetics. Like sometimes what I mean by that is not necessarily it's in your blood, but more so like that's just what your family, what you're surrounded with. Usually it's your family, or usually it is your friends, but more so your family specifically. You're around them 24/7. It could be parents, it could be grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, even siblings. I mean, but I don't want to say siblings necessarily or something like that. I want to say more like the people you grow up with. So your parents or your grandparents, your aunts and uncles. And that's all you see. So naturally, when you're in a tough situation, you're going to lash out, or you're going to behave like what you just saw. And you think that's okay because they did it. Right. And they were the adults.
Right.
And to break that habit, once you reach a certain age that you're just like, I keep being told this isn't the way to do it, but this is the only way I know how to do it. And if they can't accept that, then I don't want them near me, or whatever. And no, that's a poor mentality to have. You need to be able to, if you sneeze, God bless you.
Thank you. Praise baby Jesus.
Praise baby Jesus. It's up to us to break that genetic cycle. And so, if the ball's in your court, make sure you dribble it, and then make sure you go for that 3-point shot, because how do I put this? The more you're willing to work on yourself, and people see that, people are going to want to be around you. And then they're going to ask you, well, what is it about you? There's something about you that I really like.
Right.
But I can't put my finger on it necessarily. Like, what is it? You're always in a positive attitude. Or you're always so nice to people. You're always just, people come at you a certain way, and I've seen you act the opposite. Like, what is it? Like, how have you done this?
I have a small anecdote in my prison sentence that a few times different people would tell me, like, bro, like, you have so much peace being in here. And it wasn't even like I had 100% peace while I was incarcerated, but it got to the point that I learned to control my emotions. I learned to control the things around me on a daily basis, because everything in there, it's like out here, everything works in systems, and you have to have a time frame for everything, and in order for time to go by quick. So I remember one time I was in my cell, and a guy was walking by, and he's like, dude, you're always just peaceful, laying back, reading a book, and just doing your own thing. You know, when you sit and play chess with these guys, you're chill whether you win or lose. And to me, those things were more like those were the trophies of accomplishment. And I've spoke about this before, to be diligent and recognize when life is applauding you about something that you're doing right. I'm not saying that you should be prideful, but what I am saying is that when you're working on something, you need to have a confirmation that what you're doing is correct, or like you're in the right path. So, you know, that's how I knew that I was setting myself apart from everybody else around me, no matter the situation that I was in. And to this day, I try to do the same, whether people recognize it or not. I still try to do me. At the end of the day, I still try to be the best I can, you know, and me as a believer, I know that whether humans see my change of emotions, or controlling my emotions, or they see me acting different or not, I know God is watching, and he's writing down things. He's paying attention to the things that maybe everybody else isn't. So, you know,
but sometimes that's not enough. Like, if we're talking from a human standpoint, like sometimes, sometimes we want him to, even him to tell us kind of like, you're doing great, you know, like I'm supporting you and things like that. And it's not like we hear God audibly, necessarily.
Yeah, of course.
You know, sometimes we hear from him through other people, from what other people say, or, you know, something we read online, or just somebody, they wrote down something or what have you, or even through scripture itself. So, you know, I think it's important that while we do want to receive that, what's the word I'm looking for? That acknowledgement,
sure,
that, oh, you are doing a really good job and stuff like that. Sometimes you gotta be aware of it yourself and just be like, you know what, I am doing a good job, because I'm actually trying to make the change. I am putting in the work in order to be a better version, to not lash out at this person every single time they insult me or say something slick or whatever, you know?
And I don't mean to cut you off, but that's actually, it's really good what he's saying, because, you know, we had our podcast previously on expectations as well. And when you have written things down, for example, this is something that I wrote down the other day too, for my own self, is that sometimes we feel that, like, when we've accomplished certain things, that we're probably in disbelief that we already accomplished it, that we still feel like something's missing. Has that ever happened to you by any chance? That you feel like you've accomplished something, but you feel
you're still in disbelief?
And then that disbelief makes you think, like, am I missing something? Has that ever happened to you?
Probably.
Do that make sense though?
Yeah. But I'm just trying to think of a situation.
Well, that's happened to me quite often, where it's like, you know, since I did so much negative at one point in my life, and I've changed it into positive. When I've accomplished things, you know, like when I accomplished my 2-year degree, when I you know, even accomplished just staying out of prison for a year or two, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, those things was just like, wow, you know, time's gone by, all these things, and it's still kind of like unbelievable, because yes, we live a day at a time, but at the same time, it's like all this has already occurred. it's done. It's things that I had written down
Time
that
flies,
that occurred, you know. So what he was saying is, this is beautiful, because at the end of the day, once you have accomplished these things that are written down or that you have in your mind, like, wow, like I already did this, like you should applaud yourself. You should see it as, if nobody else sees it as what you see it as, that's okay. You know what I'm saying? You did it, you accomplished it. You know what I'm saying? Pat yourself in the back. You know, give yourself a gift, whatever that may be, whether it's a materialistic thing or something, you know, internal, whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Understand that you've accomplished it, you know. Don't be too hard on yourselves because, you know, someone else is not appreciating what you've already changed in your life, or that you're controlling emotions. Because
for sure,
I know there's a lot of people out there. We come from a really good household. The decisions, whether good or bad, that we've made as brothers and as individuals, whether right or wrong, you know, we came from a good household. We had our parents, you know, they've been married for 30 something years, going almost on 40 years. So we don't come from a bad household, but
no.
I know there's people out there that have a very deteriorated household where a parent's missing, or both parents are missing, or if the parents are there, it's just completely toxic, and it creates these things in their lives, if you want to call it genetically, or as you're being raised and seeing these things. You know, I could give an anecdote of my father. My father had both his parents, but it was a toxic relationship. He has a gash on his head from many years ago that his father and his mother were in an argument. His father threw a plate at my grandmother, at our grandmother, and my dad got into way so the plate wouldn't hit his mother, and he ended up, you know, breaking his head open, you know. So I do understand that everybody comes from different types of environments, but it all starts within thyself. And I have this quote that I want to bring into the show today.
Within thyself.
Within thyself. It's from a wise man. I don't like to, and it's not for nothing, I don't like to promote a lot of people's names or anything on the show, for multiple reasons, you know. But a wise man once said, "The nearer a man comes to a calm mind, the closer he is to strength." Okay. Once you learn that you are an individual and that you need to work on yourself and not worry about everybody else until you have come strong as a human and as a person, then you'll start to see the fruits of life. You'll start to see better things come your way. And the people that are around you that are maybe not following a positive walk in life or whatever, they might start to want to change too, because they see something positive. They see something sprouting that's nice. That's
it's always
different.
Inspiring.
Right. So
always
be that person that, again, I've said it before, be a leader, not a follower. And if you're a follower, become a leader, you know. Don't do it vice versa. A leader should not be a follower other than following God. Other than that, there's nothing else to follow other than, you know, positive things. If it's not positive, leave it alone. You know what I'm saying? And that's just where I'm standing currently with controlling my emotions. And, you know, I come onto this podcast to say that I've personally have changed in a good way, and I've seen the fruits of doing things right. What is right? I'm gonna tell you just like this. Right in your life is whatever is positive. You will see, you know what positivity means and what negativity means. So you will see in your life what positive things are once you start doing what's right, because internally in your heart and in your brain, naturally, you know what's right and what's wrong. So don't rely on other people to tell you what's right or wrong. Just because this is a podcast of positivity and this is great, but you know, do your own due diligence and find out what's right for your life and start building it, start creating it if it's not around. And if it is around, build upon it, you know, keep going, keep striving. Don't ever give up, and focus.
Even on your days that you're tired, make sure you rest up and start again fresh the next day.
Mm-hmm. And also avoid if you see that there's an argument coming or something ahead of time before it happens. sidetrack it. You know, be the person in control, not just of emotions, but of situations as well. That would lead to, you know, bad turnouts in regards to, you know, arguments or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, just be ahead of the game. Be ahead of the game in everything you do, so you could see how things will start, you know, turning in your favor.
Yeah, and I mean, sometimes you can see it from a mile away where that, you know, that argument's going to happen or whatever. And if you feel like it's going to trigger you, because I know that happens to me a lot, more so at my job than anywhere else, just back away, walk away, you know, whatever. Because if it's going to make things worse, just back up, stay out of the way, because it's only going to hurt you and the others around you as well.
Yeah.
And you don't want that. There's a Bible verse that I wanted to share with you guys because it's very, very, very relevant. Which is in Ephesians, and it says, and don't sin by letting anger control you. Don't let the sun go down while you're still angry, for anger gives a foothold or control to the devil, which is true.
What was the translation on that one?
That one was the NLT version.
Shout out to that.
New Living Translation. That's in Ephesians 4 verses 26 and 27. I bring that up again, one, because, you know, my life and everything that I do is surrounded by my belief in God and in Christ. And so everything I want to do is to please and honor him at any given moment. And so it's interesting how when we commit sin, when we do something wrong and incorrect, that's giving a foothold or the control of the devil to be able to just manipulate things worse. For example, if you said something that just triggered me and I decided to go with it and just kind of cuss you out or, you know, get in your face or whatever and just be like, da, 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 you know, what you going to do about it? And then I'm like, well, I'm in your face. What you going to do about it? How do you want to run this? You know? Now all these things are just in your head. Like, I'm ready to hit this guy. I'm ready to, like, I want him to hit me. Come on, hit me. No, you know? No, I'm not saying me specifically.
Just joking.
Although I've definitely thought of that for sure. But, you know, that's not the type of person I am specifically. Yeah. So, you know, the best thing for me to do is just back up. And also, you know, if you had a hard day and you had an argument with someone, again, whether it's at school, your home, work, whatever, that last part of the verse where it's like, don't let the sun go down, is still angry, meaning you're fostering that anger and that hatred inside you, even while you go to sleep, which then won't allow you to go to sleep because you're ticked off about the situation or about the person, and now you're letting the devil take a hold of you. Like, the control's right there. You're easily just giving into the anger and the hate and the suffering and all that stuff. Yeah, you watch Star Wars and you guys know what I'm talking about. You know, fall to the dark side. You know, that's it. Yeah. You know what I mean?
You might get your legs chopped off,
your arm chopped off. You might burn. You might be in a robotic suit the rest of your life. You know, sometimes a lot of bad things can happen. Yeah. Your eyes might turn red, you know. And so, yeah, you know, we want you guys to be aware of this stuff. And if you just aren't finding a good way to be able to work through your emotions in order for you to be more calm, more at peace in those tricky and dark, difficult situations, you know, seek a therapist like what we have before, because talking to someone always helps. Yeah. Seek that professional help, you know.
That he just said, I'm sorry guys, that he just said, talk it out. That's one thing I wanted to bring also on the podcast. Don't bottle things up. I always say it on most of the podcasts as well.
Right, yeah.
Don't bottle it up. No. You know, suppressing your emotions is a terrible thing to do because it'll build up into a volcano, ends up exploding.
Erupting.
Erupting. That's probably a better word. Thank you. You know, just, you know, find things that you can do. You know, I have multiple friends that have had the same issues as me, and one of the things they do all the time, almost every day of their life, is work out. You know, they find a workout.
That is a good way too to kind of let your emotions out working out. Ooh,
I'm not saying you got to punch a person, but a punching bag, not a bad idea.
Punching bag, going for a nice run, lifting some weights.
You got to understand our bodies are meant naturally to be active as well. So that is another reason why our you know, our anger sometimes piles up because we don't release all that energy that we have to on a daily basis to then go to bed at night and fall asleep peacefully because we haven't fulfilled those things. And obviously, if you look at how society is living nowadays, look at the macro view of the world right now. Why is there so much argument and so many things? Most people nowadays don't eat well. They have bad bodies. They don't, you know, they no, but realistically, I mean, you see, but you've found your balance in other things. So I wouldn't count you in regards to that because, you know, whether you work out sometimes, most of the time, or whatever it may be, you've found your balance through spirituality, through meditation, so you don't have a huge anger issue. You see what I'm saying? Most people out there that have very bad anger issues and all these things, they don't work out, they don't eat good, they're night clubbing all night, mistreating their bodies with all types of you know, enhancements or substance is actually better, not enhancements. Sorry. And the list goes on. See what's going out in the world and set yourself apart. That's an advice that the old CEO of Publix, I don't know if he is anymore, Ed Crenshaw of Publix Supermarkets.
Oh yeah, no, he's been retired.
He's been retired. All right. So, anyways, this guy told me, as a CEO, he's worth over $250 million. It's a guy to get advice from. He told me one time when he came to our store.
So we worked at Publix. Yeah.
Yes, we did. We're shopping as a pleasure. And
that's it, though.
Publix, you better pay us for that too, by the way. Anyways, no free promotion around here.
Well, you sued them, so they already paid you. Story for another time.
Yeah. Anyways, so the thing is that he said, look around you, because I'm like, what's the best advice you could give me, Ed? He's like, look around you. You see what everybody else is doing, all your coworkers, what they're doing and what they're not doing? Set yourself apart and do exactly what they are not doing as long as it's positive. So I say that to say this: set yourself apart, see what the world's doing, so you could see that out of millions of people, you are only one of the very few people in the world that is actually doing,
that's good.
That is actually doing things better than most of these people. These people are just going out every week, you know, whether they got money or not. For example, they go out Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, they're clubbing or they're out doing just ignorant crap. They ain't doing nothing productive in their lives, but in their eyes, they are. You know. I used to live a clubbing life and a mistreating my body life. Yeah, and it took me nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Whether you scoop up a few,
burned a lot of money too.
Oh my Holy goodness. Don't get me started with that one, but yeah, it's terrible. And if you were the person, you know, there was a time where I was living a good life, you know, but there was a time in life where I was also living paycheck to paycheck, and you know, where it was getting blown on the weekends. You're just like, okay, not only am I blowing my money, I'm blowing my health, I'm blowing my mentality. Everything is just going down.
Right.
We think it's going up because, when you're under the influence of alcohol and all these other substances, you're like, wow, you feel on top of the world, on top of Mount Everest, everything's good. But once you're down from those emotions that those substances give you, you're back to the losing stage of life. And it's not worth it. You know, I'm not saying it's not good to maybe have a drink on the weekend socially.
You're going to have fun. It's just in moderation, too. I mean,
people don't understand that nowadays. People are 100 or 0. Right. I say 100 or 0 when it comes to good, positive things or negative things that I don't want. I just set them apart. That's 0 over there because I'm not dealing with it. I control my emotions. I know where I stand. I know what I want out of life. So not that I'm avoiding trials and tribulations, but things that don't need to be around don't need to be around.
Yeah.
The people you surround yourself with, the people you're around, that's always a thing too, you know. Those people could help you or, you know, not be in favor of you when you need to control your emotions, you know what I'm saying? There might be friends, let's say you're in downtown and somebody's looking for problems. There might be those friends that be like, hey, they pull you back. Don't worry about this dude. He's a fool. You control your emotions. Or you might have the friends that be like, yeah, man, beat the heck out of this guy, dude. You know what I'm saying? Do your thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
which that should right there tell you what kind of friends you're rolling around with.
right. But
You know.
sometimes people are blind when it comes to their friendships because maybe you've been friends for a very long time or whatever it may be. Long story short, just pay attention to your surroundings. And another thing, what you feed yourself, as always, social media, music, the things you view. Stop watching them binge watching Netflix shows that are just garbage, that don't have nothing productive to do. If you say that you don't have enough time in the day to read a book, read the Bible, or do positive things, you need to check yourself and be like,
check your priorities.
Check your priorities.
Where are they at?
And set them. Okay, stop watching them Netflix. When you're listening to music, stop. If listen to a good positive podcast or good positive music. It doesn't have to be Christian music, but listen to something that's not, you know what I'm saying, inciting violence or those emotions that, you know what I'm saying? Because right now, if I listen to Tupac or I listen to whoever that's booming out there nowadays, you know what I'm saying?
Lil Nas X.
Oh, that's a terrible example. I'm sorry, man, but yeah, or Lil Uzi Vert or all these guys.
All right, Rod Wade.
He's not bad. But anyways, if you listen to these guys that are inciting violence, or you're gonna start thinking about the streets. You're gonna start thinking about the women and the dope and all these things that are gonna lead you to those emotions that
at the end of the day doesn't get you anywhere. 6 feet under at best.
Anybody that's recuperated from dope, prostitution, the streets, and many other things that are negative in this world and that are living a positive life now for many years, that have been actually rehabilitated, will tell you, was it even worth it going through all this? Of course not.
No.
And as I just can't wait till these podcasts keep coming out, because there's so much to talk about, experiences that I want to share, that Nabil wants to share, of our lives that have been, who have built us to what we are today and what we're going to be tomorrow.
Yeah.
But just do you have any other solutions maybe that might help to control emotions?
Yeah, I've actually got several ideas that I kind of looked up and kind of thought about. Here's multiple strategies on how to manage emotions in a healthy and helpful way. So the first one would be identify and reduce triggers. Again, that's super important that you realize what it is that triggers you and how you're going to handle it.
Yes.
If you need to remove yourself from the situation, remove yourself from the situation. No, just don't be around it, because then it's just only going to trigger you and you're going to stay stagnant. Tune into physical symptoms.
I like that.
That's an important one.
Yeah.
Okay. Consider the story you are telling yourself. Meaning, are you being realistic about the situation in order to what's the word I'm looking for? To be okay with the action you committed or the words you said. Are you saying it's okay with it or not? So you need to be honest with yourself at all times. Always. Be realistic about it. Stop being a liar. I have a buddy, and his now ex-girlfriend is such a liar, which triggered him, which triggered so many people. She can't help herself nowadays. Like I think she's the type of person. Liar. I think she's the type of person who believes her own lies.
Oh, that's terrible.
Now that he mentioned Publix, a little bit ago, we also had a coworker. I'm not mentioning that person's name, but we also had a coworker where they believe their own lies all the time, and that would bother me. That's a trigger for me. That's not to a ridiculous level, but like, bro, why you gotta lie so much? Like, for what? It's not even benefiting you. Like, so what's the point of it?
Yeah, that
makes no sense. Nobody wants to be around a liar.
No.
24/7. Like, dang, I know we all lie, but
yeah, that's what it says, that we all lie. I wanna bring this up real quick. Whoever tells you that they say they're not a liar, that's the first lie they're telling you.
Yeah.
Stop saying you guys are not liars, because
we all do it.
One way or another, whether it's the smallest thing to the biggest thing, a lie is a lie. Point blank, period. You can continue. I'm sorry. I just want to bring that up.
Get it off your chest.
No, because it's just true. Because people think that, I don't lie. That's why I don't stand around liars. You're lying to yourself. We're talking about being honest here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Please be honest with yourself. That's all I'm asking.
That's it, man. It's only going to benefit you and the people around you.
Right.
Also, engage in positive self-talk. Yes, it is super important.
Goodness. It's wonderful.
You know what I mean? Like you have to say positive self-talk. So like how Shamir was saying earlier, you know, pat yourself on the back. If no one's applauding you for your hard work at trying to do better, recognize it. Now, don't be this person like I'm doing amazing and they're not. So no. Come back down from that cloud. Humble yourself and just be like, you know what? I know that I'm doing my part. I'm really, you know, I've been at it for 2 weeks now, 3 weeks, a month, 2 months, a year. And I know I've made progress and I'm proud of myself. Like I should be proud of myself. This is good, you know, or for those of us who are Christians, like I know I'm honoring God. I know I'm doing right by him and by what it says in scriptures that I need to do and things like that. So, you know, keep that in mind. Positive talk, self-talk. Make a choice about how to respond. Sometimes it's important not to respond because then it'll light up the fire of the situation.
That's good. That's actually really good. I listen, I don't mean to cut you off again. I'm sorry. Real quick. There's times in life where you want to be heard. You want people to listen to you. You want people to give you attention. I used to be back in the day the type of person my input had to be in almost everything. Like you had to hear me out because not being selfish, but it was, I mean, I guess it kind of is selfish. Ignore me. It's just, bro, like I had to say something. Like if I was like the biggest like advice giver in the world and like my advice was really good, but then at the same time I was like, bro, like half the advice I give, like I'm good at giving advice, but I'm not good at giving my own self that advice and applying it to my own life. So I had to tone it down because I recognize I'm like, bro, I'm just being stupid. So, you know, just, you know, humble yourself. Don't think that every conversation or every topic or everything that's around you that you have to respond to, even in an argument, you know, sometimes you want to probably say, listen, you know, go to hell or like you suck or whatever comes out of your mind. Cause I can say a lot of disgusting things right now, but you know, it's not the way. It really isn't. It's not the way. And you know, Nabil and Shamir could tell you this 1,000 times. You know, the pastor at church or the best friend could tell you this. But one thing about life and time is that it will humble you and it will show you. It will teach you. Life is a school. It will always be. You will graduate the day you die. Okay.
I mean, and hopefully you graduated with flying colors.
Hopefully.
Rather than just stay at a, you know, elementary level.
Nobody knows 100% where we're going except for yourself. The reason why I say that is because you know where your heart lays. I know where my heart lays. And you know the exterior Shamir, but you don't know the true internal Shamir at 100%. You know maybe 50, 60% of me because you've lived with me, you know me, all these things. But you don't know 100% of my thoughts. And
no one's ever going to know that.
At the end of the day, you got to recognize this. Life will humble you one way or another and will teach you what you need to learn.
Yeah, basically.
Continue, I'm sorry.
So look for positive emotions. Absolutely. You look for positive emotions, it's always going to make you want to do good things. You know what I mean? And if you see people doing positive things and things like that, like compliment them. You know,
yeah.
Just go out of your way to be a good person in order to be able to you know, tone down that negative feeling that you feel inside of you, and you'll reap essentially what you're sowing. You know,
that's indeed,
and then of course another option is what we mentioned earlier, which is seeking a therapist, seeking help, seeking professional help. Some people are against it. When I made the mistake of telling someone that I care about that I was thinking therapy, and they were just like, bro, I don't believe in that. That is the stupidest thing ever. If you're doing it, all right, cool, whatever, you know. But therapy are for people that are trying to look for, I forgot what he said, like trying to look for some sort of validation or something. I'm like, I'm not trying to look for validation. I'm trying to look for a way to be better.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look for a solution to be able to act, a practical solution. In order to be able to apply that to my own life and my own actions to then be able to share it with the world instead of constantly being negative. Because that person is negative all the time. All the freaking time.
Yeah.
All the freaking time. This was at work, by the way.
Yeah.
And you know, I shared it with them thinking that they could use it too, because again, they're negative all the time.
Yeah.
They talk a lot of crap. But
Now, my thing is, has that person even tried therapy?
No.
Exactly. See, I can tell you,
I was against it too, though. For me personally, not for people who did it.
And I was too. Let me explain something real quick. The way I saw therapy at one point in life was not that it's just for crazy people. I also saw it as this therapist is just another human being that has flaws as well, that probably goes home and has a way more toxic relationship than I do, and they can't do anything. But that's not the point of therapy. Therapy, you have to see it in one point. You're going to therapy to start to put yourself in check with a person that can see your flaws and be like, hey, this is, because when you go to therapy, they'll start to be like, okay, talk, like what's in your mind, what's in your head, you know.
And once you give them that, they give you some exercises to do that you never would have thought you could have done in order to be able to get a solution.
See, if you don't give a positive thing, because therapy is not a negative thing. If you think it's a negative thing, that's erroneous. You're not thinking correctly. So give it a try. Once you give it a try and you don't like it, then be like, okay, I don't like it for this reason.
But don't go in trying to give it a try because you're against it and you don't like it. And at the same time, you're going in with the mindset every single time you go to a session, this is going to be crap. This is going to be crap. Go in with an open mind, as you said. Yeah. Go in. There we go. Okay. I got better adjusted. Okay. Go in willing to learn.
Yeah.
Willing to learn. And if you really just didn't get anything out of it after all of that, okay. Yeah, right. And I guess it wasn't for you. But I certainly have learned stuff, and I've learned tools and you know, things like that to be able to put into practice, and it's certainly helped me in all my relationships.
Yeah. And I can tell you, if therapy, for example, does not work for you, I can guarantee you changing your surroundings, changing what you watch, what you listen to, all these things will add up to something positive, and you will see a change.
Yes.
Point blank.
Guaranteed.
One of these things will have to help you, because you cannot be such a pessimistic person that, you know, because if you were just, this is how I paint it for these people that are very pessimistic or just negative all the time. If I tell them just like this, if you were just as negative as you are, if you were just as positive, bro, you would have such a successful career and such a successful life, because you're so ingrained and so stuck on just that's what people don't understand, that sometimes they actually have something beneficial in their lives. They're so consistent on being negative. Okay, be just as consistent to positivity.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Fall just on positivity. No, I'm going to do this. I'm going to fix this, and I'm going to work on this. I'm going to go work out, find different people to be around, maybe find a club somewhere, not a nightclub, but like different things for leisure time that, you know, go out fishing or go out to a lake, breathe some fresh air, get in sync with nature. That's what nature is for. Stop being on social media so much. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's just a waste of time, to be honest,
bro. Like, you know, start looking on your time. If you got an iPhone or a smartphone in general, look at how long you've been on your phone for a day. You know what I'm saying?
I like how iPhones will tell you.
Yeah, exactly. All the times and even the seconds and everything that you've been on each platform or app.
Each app, yeah.
All these things. Start recognizing. Have organization in your life. If your life is not organized, organize it. You're the only person that can help yourself or hinder yourself.
Ooh,
that's point blank period.
Put that on a t-shirt.
It'll be up on our on the bottom of our link as well when we make those t-shirts, so y'all can purchase one. Don't worry, we got you guys. Thank you for that idea. That's a great idea. That's a great idea.
That's a good one, huh? Yeah. Anyway, anything else to add? We're at the almost 50-minute mark.
Yeah, we love you guys. Thank you for the support. Thank you for taking your time to listen up to this 50-minute mark. And
hopefully you get something out of it too.
Yes, hopefully that, you know, this was
the goal. That's what we want to do.
Yes, we do this from the bottom of our hearts. Yeah. We do this like so genuine. Like, I cannot tell you, like, what we conversate behind the cameras and what we're conversating here is the same way. This is just as fluent. It ain't nothing changed. So we're
except we look at a camera now.
That's it. And honestly, you know, I'm still trying to get used to just looking at the camera. But other than that, everything is from you know, we're being sincere. We're trying to change our lives. We're trying to change And we're not trying to change. We're trying to help
Trying to grow.
and grow and help other people as well in any way we can, whether if it's just one quote or something simple. That's
Yeah.
all we're doing. So
Yeah.
again, thank you. Give it a thumbs up. Y'all already know what I feel about thumbs down. Just give it a thumbs up. Like.
He's trying to get used to saying all this YouTube and social media lingo.
Yeah.
So you're gonna hopefully like this video. You're gonna comment down in the comment section below and tell us how you guys feel. How's this helping you? Any suggestions on what we can talk about, mention in future episodes. Subscribe. That's very important. We need your subscription in order for the algorithms to do its thing and allow our podcast to continue to grow. Make sure to follow us on all the different platforms that you can listen to podcasts to, because that also will help in a big way.
If you're on a road trip, you can hear some of the speakers of your car. That'd be wonderful.
Hopefully the audio sounds pretty good. I think we do. We have pretty good equipment, thank God. And
turn on the notification bell, ring a ding a ding.
there you go. Yeah. I already said it, but yeah, that's good. You're doing good.
Did you say notification?
I did. I hope so.
No, you said comments. That's how you left out.
Okay, well, all right.
Ring the bell, please, so
Ring
you guys
the bell.
know
Ding,
when
ding, ding.
we're knocking on your door that you answer and you listen to this amazing podcast.
Yeah,
Anything
exactly.
else? No, we're good?
Make sure to follow us on our social media pages.
Yes, please do so. Thank you guys for tuning in and watching Bug Podcast. We love you. It'll be until next time. Thank you for watching,
See you guys.
Peace.